Hello, I'm the Autism Dad, Victor Antunez, the inclusive My Realtor, and this is the Autism Podcast at Miami's community newspapers. Today, I'm with Matthew Vila and with Aya Robinson. Aya is an ambassador at Be Unique Academy. Oh no, she goes to Be Unique Academy and she's an ambassador at Best Buddies. Matthew is also involved with Best Buddies and he founded Harmony Hugs. Matthew, tell me a little bit about Harmony Hugs.
Great. So thank you so much for having us. So Harmony Hugs is a nonprofit dedicated to providing music enrichment to special needs individuals across South Florida. We've been able to expand to over 9 locations over the past 3 years, and we're serving about 70 kids per week. We've been able, through a partnership with the Guitar Center Music Foundation, to make our programs completely cost-free for all families involved. And we've distributed over $15,000 worth of instruments to all the families at our locations to ensure that their kids are receiving free music education.
That's incredible. And these 9 locations all in Dade County, or have you gone beyond Dade County?
We're operating within South Florida County.
Super nice. Yeah. And how do people, if they want to get involved in Harmony Hugs, how do they do that?
So Harmony Hugs, basically, what I'll do is I'll partner like volunteer locations with sites of operation. Right now we're at 5 volunteer locations and 4 sites of operation, making up 9 total locations. If people want to get involved, we have a website that they can go check out. And we also have, right now we have to set up, donation links, but currently if they want to reach out, they can reach my email, me, via online, I will put all this in the show notes. Yeah, for sure. Yes, definitely.
So Aya, you are only 13 years old. You're you're 15. I'm sorry, 15. So you're very brave to be here on this podcast. I think you're my youngest guest so far. And you're involved at Best Buddies. And I've had other people on the show that are involved with Best Buddies. Tell me a little bit about what that's like for you.
Well, being part of Best Buddies is a really good experience for me because I get to meet new people, talk about my interests with them. And so it just makes me feel comfortable to be around them and also make me feel comfortable to be around myself.
Super nice. Super nice. And what does it mean to you to be an ambassador?
It means a lot because, well, not only I'm making Florida more aware of Best Buddies, it's actually like the whole world, pretty much. Although we haven't gotten that far yet.
No, actually, autism awareness is worldwide. I do quite a bit of reading and research, and it's caught on, and thankfully so, because there was a time when autism people didn't know what it was, or people tried to avoid the conversation, and now it's part of the conversation, and that way people who are on the spectrum get the help that they need.
Mm-hmm.
So Matthew, your focus with Harmony Hugs, is it neurotypical, neurodiverse, kids with disabilities, not with disabilities? What is it?
So basically, we currently serve a wide range of kids, actually ages 3 months to 18 years old. And so we basically serve like the whole gamut of kids. At one of our locations, the University of Miami-Dade Intervention Center, we're serving kids 3 months to 3 years old who are prenatally drug exposed and have a developmental delay. At other chapters, we're with kids who have cerebral palsy, autism. It's just the entire range of disabilities that we've been able to serve.
Very nice. Now, I had told you earlier that I have a daughter who's on the spectrum, and one thing that I worry about with her as she gets older is bullying. Now, I had sent you a questionnaire, and you had mentioned that you had suffered a little bit of bullying. Can you tell me what that was like for you and how you got past that?
It was really hard. I kind of, felt a little uncomfortable because actually what happened is that I teased the kid a little bit. I mean, I was young at the time, so I didn't know what I was doing. And then when I apologized to him after I learned my lesson, after I got taught that it was not okay, he never forgave me. So that's how it escalated. And I tried to be as nice as I could. And I didn't even repeat my behaviors.
Can I tell you, as adults, as we get older, we all look back and we realize that we did things that were kind of mean sometimes, things that we regret. So this is pretty neat. I mean, when you're a kid growing up, you sometimes don't know how to behave right. And I know that I look back at things that I did and I'm sorry about them. And all you can do is forgive yourself. Hope that eventually that person will forgive you and just move on. Now, you also mentioned a love of anime. Tell me about that.
Well, when I was like 9, it was like in the beginning of 2020, but I had this girl who was like my rival who liked anime a lot. And so I was like, that's a very unique animation style. And so then I watched it, but not the same thing that she watched. And so I just fell in love with it, and I thought it was amazing. But my interest only lasted for like 2.5 years. So eventually I moved on, and then I started getting interested in more classic shows. Yeah.
Like what shows?
Some of them like Dexter's Laboratory. I love that show.
Mm-hmm.
And Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Yeah. So that was like a little later on.
It's funny when you say the classic shows. I'm thinking of Disney, but I'm an old guy, so we just have different memories.
Yeah.
That's good. You also mentioned that I think when you were 11, you switched schools. What was that like for you?
It was a little bit weird because I didn't really know anybody. And some of the kids, when I got to the new school, some of the kids, they were sort of like afraid of me because they didn't know who I was. I was pretty tall, and I was very, very eccentric and optimistic. But then later on, I met this really nice boy named Jonathan, and at first I was a little afraid of him because at the time I didn't really know that much about autism.
Mm-hmm.
And so he would do all these like stemming and movements that kind of like weirded me out. And so I kind of like avoided him until one day I held out my hand, and he like held it like very gently. And so I was like, he's a very nice guy. And then ever since then, we've been like really, really close friends for about 4 years now.
That's super nice. And what did you learn about making new friends from that experience?
Is that even though somebody may not communicate much or may be different, you still gotta like give some respect and like not be so afraid of them. And just, try to get to know them a little bit more and like see their perspective rather than just hide away.
And I tell you, when I was 12, I also switched schools. I was going to a grade school, and then I switched to a private school. Then I went to a public school, and it was a big transition. So you're not the only one. It's really tough.
Yeah.
And you know what? I remember like looking back that time, what made all the difference for me is making that one friend. And once you made that one friend, then it was usually make the second and the third and what have you. So but it's great of you that you reached out that way. Because sometimes, we wait around for people to be the ones that become our friends, but we can be their friends first.
Yeah.
That's super nice of you.
Thank you.
Now, Matthew, you have spoken about your message is that special needs individuals aren't broken. They're already the best version of ourselves. How'd you come to believe that so strongly?
Well, over the past 4 years of my high school experience, I was introduced to the special needs community. So my family, no one in my family has a disability. So I was sort of, before entering high school, I was like in this bubble of a worldview. I didn't have a connection, nor was I aware or receptive to the special needs community. But when I entered high school, I was introduced to Best Buddies. So Best Buddies is the largest organization in the world dedicated to the over 200 million people who have a disability worldwide. And so I was introduced to Best Buddies, and I fell in love with its mission. And so through Best Buddies and ultimately, eventually through Harmony Hugs, I've been exposed to special needs kids over my 4 years of high school, and I realized that this is the community that I feel most strongly, most passionately about. My service is geared towards them. And I feel like special needs kids are the best of us. They see the world in the most positive light, and they offer the greatest forms of friendship, right? They don't offer, utilitarian friendships. They're not there just because you can give them something, but because of the human that you are, of the friendship that you can give them. So that's why I've grown to believe that.
I had on as my very first guest, Dr. Michael Alessandri from CARD. And he talks about when he was in summer camp, he was 17 years old. He met this one autistic boy, and Marlon was his name, and they became great friends. And that changed just his life trajectory. Because now he's like, the biggest name in autism in Miami-Dade County. Was there that type of friendship for you as well?
Yeah.
One person. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So the one kid, well, there's two kids, but the first kid that sort of cemented this passion for disability advocacy actually shares my name. His name is Matthew. And Matthew is, I believe now he's 18 years old. But when I met him, he was 16. He's a lively, enthusiastic kid with Down syndrome. And he was my first student in Harmony Hugs at our first location, which is Great Heights Academy. I know you had the founder
last week.
Last week. But Matthew is so goofy. He was the goofiest kid I'd ever met. And I remember walking into my first Harmony Hugs lesson thinking that I was going to teach kids music. And I did. But in reality, they were teaching me how to truly be a friend, right? How to truly be a human, someone who laughs, who can laugh, who enjoys like the goofiness of life, right? Not just like the strict schedule or curriculum of a music class, right? So Matthew was that first kid. The second kid was Zayhan. So Zayhan was a student last year. And Zayhan was, I don't have favorite students. Zayhan was awesome. He is another kid that's just taught me. He's one of those kids that proves to me that when I do Harmony Hugs, it doesn't matter how tired I am after a day of school. They just, I just love what I do. It's those kids that drive me to get out of the car with my guitar strapped around my shoulder and walk into my music classrooms. So
nice. I know how to be an autism dad, or at least I'm figuring it out. Now, you said that these friendships taught you how to be a friend. So it's different as a dad than being a peer. So what did they teach you of how to be a friend to them? That's different than your typical friends.
Yeah. I think they've taught me the power of genuineness, right? I feel like friendships in like the regular sense of the word, like usually presently, when you're with your friends, you are reserved. You want to hold back yourself because you're afraid of judgment. You're afraid of what your peers are going to think of you. But I feel like in the context of a special needs friendship, I don't think there's any judgment at all. I think there's just a mutual recognition of the fact that, everything, like there's no judge. It's a judgment-free zone, and you can be the truest version of yourself in that relationship.
I agree. Now, I had on Sebastian Tamayo last week, and when he graduates high school, he's going to stay working in the disability field. What are your plans after school?
So in college, I'm going to double major in neuroscience and linguistics with the aim of becoming a pediatric neurosurgeon. First off, I'm going to continue Harmony Hugs wherever I go. That's my greatest mission, that wherever I go in college, I want to expand Harmony Hugs there. But in addition to that, my mission and my work within the special needs community will not stop outside of Harmony Hugs. I want to do research specifically into the psycholinguistic, basically how linguistics play a role in an autistic person's development of language, right? So I've found that research has shown that when you combine music with therapy, for example, you're playing a song and you are with a nonverbal child, and you start humming notes, right, or saying words, and you're playing that song over and over again through repetition, that special needs kid will begin integrating the words that you're using in song. They'll start like repeating it back to you, and it'll become an integrated form of their language. I think that's really, really interesting how music can basically unearth language in a person that would otherwise not be speaking. I think that's super, super interesting. So,
and it's my experience with my daughter, because when I say she's nonverbal, it doesn't mean she doesn't say anything. She just wants to have a conversation with you. The other day, she's on the phone with my parents, and she said a full sentence. I was like, what did you just say? It was amazing.
Exactly.
But the times that she is the most verbal is when she's with her iPad and singing along to these songs.
Exactly.
And she would just sing and sing. And I bought her a little ukulele, and she'll strum that, and she'll harmonize with the ukulele. Exactly. And she's taking no music lessons.
Exactly.
It's super awesome.
Exactly.
Now, a little while ago, I had on somebody from Mind and Melody. Now, they work with people from 0 to people older with dementia and stuff. Do you have any plans with Harmony Hugs to go past 18, or are you always going to keep it with just the younger?
I think that the only reason we kept it at 18 is because we've been working primarily in special needs schools. And usually at special needs schools, the cutoff age is 18. There's kids usually there that are older. But I think 18 was just like it's just what we were limited to. Okay. I don't think that's something I'm going to stick to. I feel like, yeah, for sure. Anyone who wants to join in can join in. It doesn't matter their age. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. I want to ask you some questions as an autism dad, because you're you're 7 years older than my daughter, which is, at that age is a big difference because 8 and 15, that's a huge difference. So if you were talking to a younger person who's experiencing bullying, what advice would you give them on how to handle that?
Well, I would tell them that you should probably talk to your parents so that way they can help you know how to like better manage it. Or if it gets to the point where it's like not working, you could even try to stand up for yourself as well.
Yes, that always works.
Yeah.
Mhm. Usually with bullies standing up for yourself, that works really well.
Yeah.
Now, I experienced one time when I was in middle school bullying, and I remember being scared to go to the administration because I was scared of the bullies. But then once I went to the administration, these kids, it was so bad they actually got expelled. So did you ever have any fear of going to the administration, or do you just feel good going to them?
Well, I'm not really sure what that is, so I guess it probably didn't have that kind of feeling. Yeah.
Oh, the administration is like the principal or your teachers. Did you go to them or?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay. And I would always tell young people that your first line of defense is always your parents.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we're scared to talk to our parents or embarrassed or what have you, but our parents always, I mean, they're your parents and nobody loves you like your parents. And I'm talking as a dad that nobody loves my daughter. Well, maybe my mom, maybe not my mom, but my wife loves her more than me. But outside of her parents, nobody loves you more than your parents. So that's always like your first line of defense.
Yeah.
And when you transition schools, any advice for kids who are transitioning?
Is that you will find friends and help when you least expected it.
Super. And what kind of help did you find that you least expected?
Well, what I did is that I just tried to adapt to like a new school and like try to like be brave enough to like make friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did is I took like a little risk and I tried to be the best self as I could be.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. And, and I remember as a little kid that you had to instigate sometimes to make the friends. And then once you do it, most people are very nice. I mean, I found that most people are very nice and they want to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
So Matthew, in Harmony Hugs, how are you like initiating these friendships?
So Harmony Hugs began with the intention of like a one-to-one sort of model.
Huh?
But soon we sort of like ventured outside of the one-to-one. It works perfectly within Best Buddies, but within Harmony Hugs, we found that, kids like on a week-to-week basis wouldn't want to learn a specific instrument. Maybe they'd want to do drums one week or guitar another week. So basically what we said was like, the kids can go where they want. So we set up these groups, these group circles, friendship circles, where we will learn a specific instrument. On one part of the room, there'll be a violin lesson. Another part of the room will be drums. Another part of the room will be guitar. And it's like those little circles that will form in a classroom are like microcosms of an entire, of a friendship, right? Of friendships that are being built not only between the kids, but between the kids and myself as well. So your question was, what was it?
How are you facilitating these friendships with kids with disabilities? No, disabilities, because there's always the fear of the unknown, especially when you're younger.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes kids just need a little bit of a push. And then once they get past, like, oh, wow, this is not as scary as I thought it was. It was awkward. And how do you facilitate that?
So when there's a goal in mind, when everyone goes into something with the same goal in mind, I think that's when, the unconventional or the unthinkable, friendship ensues, right? So I feel like when you're going into a Harmony Hugs lesson, the kids enter and they want to learn the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I enter, I want to teach the guitar, right? So we have that unified goal, that mission of learning music. But then it's how we get to that. It's the jokes that the kids will make with each other. It's some of the kids will walk around and they'll do like the bunny ears on each other. They love that game. And it's little games, it's little jokes that ensue when you're trying to reach that goal. Then I think friendship naturally will occur, right? I think friendship is going into something. It's going into an experience, a shared experience with someone else, and then creating memories that you wouldn't expect from that experience with that person.
It's awesome. Now, and you operate Harmony Hugs within Best Buddies?
No. So basically, Best Buddies inspired me to form Harmony Hugs, but I also work outside of Harmony Hugs with Best Buddies. So over the past 4 years, I've functioned at every student capacity for Best Buddies. I'm the chapter president of my school at Belen. I'm the chair of the student advisory board here in Miami. And last year, I served the term on the Best Buddies Young Leaders Council, which is their international student advisory board. And so that's what I do outside of Harmony Hugs. In addition, this year I published a children's book called Harmony in Our Hearts. And Harmony in Our Hearts is about a kid named Jamie, and it follows him. He plays the guitar, and it's basically he overcomes the fear of performing at his school's talent show. And the book was created with the intent of raising funds for Harmony Hugs. But Best Buddies came in, and they have this new pillar called Uni's Buddies. It's the family support pillar. Yeah. And so Best Buddies came in, and they have partners with the Early Steps Foundation, the Ocean Reef Foundation, the City of Miami, the Homestead Cybrarium, all these partnerships. And Best Buddies came in and they said, Matthew, why don't you do book readings across the city of Miami? And so while I do work, Harmony Hugs and Best Buddies function, exclusively, but at the same time, when you're working towards the same goal of uplifting the special needs community, I think both parties come together, and they work pretty comfortably together, pretty awesomely, I'd say.
That is awesome. Tell me about the book readings.
Yeah, so the book readings. So far we've had one this year at the Homestead Cybrarium.
What is a cybrarium?
It's like a very futuristic library.
I've never heard of that. Yeah, I got to go check that out.
It's really, really cool. It's a children's library, so because it's a children's book. And so the reason why I know the Sophiscat strings is because the whole point of the book reading, the first one, was it was going to be a book reading and a live concert as well. So it's really, really cool. So we were able to have a live violin concert with people that have autism.
Oh, and they did the violin. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, that's great.
And then read a book about a kid with autism who performs the guitar at his school's talent show. So currently we have plans to do other book readings across the city as well. I think our next one's scheduled for Key Biscayne.
Is there a cybrarium in Key Biscayne also?
A cybrarium? I'm not sure. That one's just a regular library.
It's a little one.
But yeah. So
are there more of these around the county? The cybrariums?
Sure.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. And I try to stay on top of stuff, but one more thing to go check out. And how would people find out about these events?
Yeah. So Best Buddies they work diligently to promote all their events. Actually, this Saturday, there's an inclusive farmers market. It's called the Empower Ed.
Where's that going to be?
That's going to be also at Homestead.
Okay.
I'll actually have a table selling my book. Nice. And Best Buddies will be there for Uni's Buddies. They're just giving out, it's an entire event dedicated to family support. So all support measures from toddlers and adolescents all the way to adults. So it's basically intervention mechanisms and measures, all companies and nonprofits coming together to provide resources. It's a resource fair. Really cool.
Awesome. Now, when you call it an inclusive farmers market, what does that mean?
So like I said, it's just a bunch of organizations providing resources. So it's an inclusive resource fair in that sense.
Okay.
We're not selling like blueberries and stuff, but we're selling information. We're providing information on how to raise a kid with special needs and how to support your kid with special needs to the best of your ability.
That's great. Another question I like to ask people, and you're a great ambassador for what you're doing, is what does advocacy mean to you?
I think advocacy means passion without recognition.
What does that mean?
I think that people get it wrong. Like I feel like a lot of high schoolers will they'll start something or they'll go into something and they think they're passionate about it, but in reality, they're only doing that for the photos, for the recognition. They don't. I won't speak for them, but I feel like when you put something on social media, for example, I don't think you're truly doing that out of the kindness of your heart. Maybe you are, but that's what I feel. But I think that true advocacy is doing what you claim, right, without anyone watching. So Harmony Hugs was never started with the intent of recognition. I don't even have an Instagram account because you say, how do we reach Harmony Hugs? You can't because, I don't even have a
website?
We have a website.
Okay.
We have a website. We do have that. Sorry, we do have that. But we don't have an Instagram account. We don't have any form of social media because I didn't start Harmony Hugs with the intent of recognition. I wanted to share my talents for the guitar. I'm a self-taught guitarist for 5 years. I wanted to share my passion for music with kids with special needs. I didn't really care who was watching.
And this is actually a very biblical perspective. Don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. The right hand know what the left hand is doing. So it's nice that you follow those precepts. and you go to Belen, so I know where you learned this. That's great. Aya, what does advocacy mean to you?
Advocacy means to fight for what you believe in, especially within the autistic community, because I know there's like a lot of ableism going on, especially like right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we need to try to push it a little bit more further, but not do it like what Matthew said, for the recognition. Yeah.
What does ableism mean to you?
It means when you're excluding somebody with a disability just because they're not able to do things or not the same level
Mm-hmm.
as somebody else. Like there could be somebody with a rare genetic disorder who may be a teenager. So you may expect them to act like their age, but they really act like, as if they were younger,
Mm-hmm.
because the way how their brains are worked or programmed don't really allow them to, act upon their age.
Mm-hmm.
So it's called like a developmental delay.
Okay. Have you ever experienced ableism?
Well, it's a little bit complex, but maybe I have, but I can't really tell if it was ableism. Maybe it was just because I didn't really fit in with the group because I was so different from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how about you, Matthew? I mean, I'm sure you've had experiences with this.
Yeah. I think I'm on the opposite end of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, especially in high school can be a very cruel place. And people,
I remember.
yeah, people don't really intend for it to be, but I think it happens either way. I think the use of like the R word, I think,
Yeah.
ad nauseum.
Language has changed.
Yeah, but I feel like high schoolers are not as aware of their language, especially like of all the groups and subsets of humanity. I think teenagers they don't recognize the how hurtful their words can be. And I think that, I mean, they don't do it. They do it inadvertently, really, but in a very same way, it's like it's lacerative. It's cutting. A lot of kids they'll use jokes. They'll say autism jokes or jokes against people with special needs, and they'll do it to get some laughs. But in reality, they don't recognize how truly deleterious like their words can be, right? Like you're sort of like perpetuating this basically the fact that it's okay to be like this, because people will laugh, right? If you're mean, if you say this joke, this word, people will laugh. It's a
Social media is great for that. Yeah,
exactly. You'll elicit a positive response. I'm going to keep doing this. So a high school can be, it's a place for formation, but it can also be a place for a negative formation, right? And I think that I've experienced in my circles, right? People don't understand how truly painful like their words can be.
Yeah. I remember being your age, but not completely because it's been a long time. So when you have peers who are maybe using language that they're going to regret when they're older, do you talk to them directly or just think, well, with age, you'll find out?
That's a very, I feel like
it's a tricky question.
Yeah. As an advocate, it's your job to do it, to do that. But I feel like, I think it really depends, because I know it shouldn't depend, but I feel like that's also why high school is so tricky, because you're bound by like the social you're the social status, right? If I say this word, if I call these people out, will I lose my friends?
I agree. And sometimes you just if you are the change you want to see, you just can be the example. But you're right, it is tough because if you call everybody out, you'll just be that guy who's
you'll be that guy
always lecturing, and you can't be that guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's also why, to be a true advocate, you can't care about the social circles. You can't care about, what your friends will think.
And yet reality is that you have to live amongst
them. But we're humans. Like we have to, we can't be like, it's not perfect service, right? So
maybe just being the example.
Yeah.
And people will learn from that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, I got the 2-minute warning. So I've got last few questions I want to ask you guys before we sign off. Let me get to my questions here. So I've already asked you what advocacy means to you, but if you could say it in one word, what would it be, Matthew? Or one sentence?
I think humility.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
How about you, Aya?
Empowerment.
Good one. Okay. Second question. The biggest lesson you've learned from your experiences so far, Matthew?
That uniqueness is a superpower.
It can be. Aya?
Being yourself can change the world.
You should always be yourself. Don't try to be what people want you to be or what you think they want you to be, which is even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you could have a billboard on I-95, what message would it say, Matthew?
I'm thinking now, those like war posters, like the World War II ones where like guys like pointing. It could be something like that and like be the change. Like
That's a good one. Okay. Aya?
A little bit complex, but I think it should say, be the change you want to see in the world.
That's a Gandhi quote, actually. Yeah. Good one. All right. Next question. A mentor or role model who inspires you?
Every single one of my Harmony Hugs.
Very nice. A mentor or role model who inspires you, Aya?
An animator that was my biggest idol, Craig McCracken.
Is what kind of? I don't know much about anime, so like tell me a little bit about him before we ask.
Oh, he's actually an American animator. He's actually the creator of one of my favorite shows, the Powerpuff Girls, Foster.
I know them. Okay, cool. My daughter went through a Powerpuff Girls phase, and so did my nieces. They all love the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, last question. What gives you the most hope about the future for people with disabilities?
The fact that people with disabilities increasingly today are okay with being themselves.
They sure are. And there's a bigger place at the table for them. They're being recognized. Yeah, exactly. How about you, Aya? What gives you the most hope about the future for people with disabilities?
That they can be included in all elements of life rather than being excluded.
Thank you, Aya. Thank you. Now let's go ahead and turn to the camera and we'll sign off. So this has been the Autism Podcast at Miami's Community Newspapers with Aya and Matthew. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time.